Hi there and welcome to my video today. I'm so happy to have you here. Today I'm going to talk about some layering in mixed media. I know when I first got started, I didn't quite understand how everyone made their pieces, and I'm going to show you my process step by step of how I create these mixed media pieces. So again, this is just my process, so you can kind of take what works for you and leave the rest. So these are some of the things I just kind of gathered to do my latest fun piece in my art journal. And I love having an art journal because it gives me a place to experiment. So if you don't have one, I really encourage you to get one of your own. These are jelly prints that I made myself, and I think that's also a big part of mixed media is having papers and colors that you really enjoy using, because then it's going to inspire you to create some more. So I have these little die cut cutouts, some stencils, and this fish I just wanted to use that as my focal point. It kind of gives me something to focus on while I'm creating. These are all jelly prints and just kind of stuff that I liked. I just picked out. Again, I'm working in my art journal. It is the Canson 140-pound paper and not really that big. I think it's 7 by 10. And this is a place where I like to experiment. So I try not to get too crazy about what I put down. If it looks good, I just kind of have fun with it here. So when I'm first looking at my papers, I'm just kind of looking at the different colors together. Do they work together? Um, are there different shapes? And how will it all kind of jive? So there is an editing process when I'm thinking about what I'm going to put on the paper, just as far as the colors. And then as I tear the papers and use them, then I look at the shapes. But again, it's just a place to have fun, experiment, and just see what shows up. So I'm going to start by putting down some papers with this satin medium. It's the Liquitex satin medium. I do like to use satin because I don't want it to be too shiny with a gloss, and the matte kind of changes the colors of things sometimes. So just putting that down with a thin layer. I do put it on top of the papers as well so that they don't buckle, or if they do buckle, they lay flat when they're dry. So there's not really a science to how I put the papers down. I just kind of look at the shapes and see what actually feels good when I see them on the paper. So it's just preference. A lot of art is your own personal preference, what you're comfortable with, what you like, what kind of makes your heart go a little flutter. I would pay attention to things like that. So again, this is my first layer. These are all jelly prints I made myself, which I love doing because I feel like it's more personal art and it just feels more like things that I really like seeing. And it's all about color, really. So if you don't have a jelly plate, I would really encourage you to get one. It's a lot of fun to experiment with. And I used a lot of stencils as well, making these prints. So that round print is a stencil. So I'm just kind of playing around, seeing how big the papers are, where they actually fit as other papers go down. Do the colors kind of gel together? And this is kind of a brighter color scheme than I usually use right off the bat because my next process is putting down a little paint. But when I do use colors that I like, I don't use as much paint because I don't want to totally cover up all the colors. Sometimes I'll use scrapbook paper and then I don't love the colors, so then I do use paint to kind of cover them. So I am going to give this a little time to dry because the satin medium sits on top and needs to be absorbed into the paper so I can put down some paint on top. Otherwise, the paint will just sit there and get goopy and everything will take forever to dry. So I am going to use a little pink, some gold, and I'm just going to kind of play around with the more translucent deli papers that I made and just kind of play around and have fun with it. So here's the soft pink, some light olive green that I think would go good with this. I'm also going to use a touch of this phthalo green. So the first step in the process is the papers. This next step is adding some paint. Now, when I start with the paint, I don't really worry about covering up the papers unless I really like them. Like I like this area right here, so I'm going to try not to cover it up. And I can always kind of edit it out as far as if I use too much, I can kind of dab it with some paper towel and pick it up. One of the key ingredients for my process is getting excited about the colors. I love the color of this phthalo green and I love it against the pink. So I'm going to just keep playing with this for a little bit. And then just let some drips go down. I think the key for my mixed media process is to have like a game plan and then allow some variations to show up. Because I love to kind of give way to the artistic process while also having a basic framework. I feel like that's part of the creativity process is discovering your own kind of comfort level of creating. Maybe you have certain steps you use each time and then you build on it from there, or you have a basic framework and then you see what shows up and then you can just take whatever variations come up. I always have to remind myself to give way to the whimsy of creating because you don't want it to be like a cookie cutter process that never varies from piece to piece. So I'm just going to give this layer a second to dry with that paint on top of it. I'm not going to use a lot of paint in this one because I do like the colors, I like the papers, and I'm trying to keep in mind that I am going to have a central focal point, so I want to leave a little room for that and not get too muddy with it. So next in the process, I'm going to add some other layers, more transparent. These are the deli paper jelly prints that I made. Just kind of having fun with it. Maybe adding more color without overpowering the piece. Just kind of moving some more paper around. So again, this is just my process. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong. It's just how I make my way through creating a painting. If you take a look at any artist that you follow on Instagram or that you see on social media, you can kind of recognize that each one has their own way of doing things, and then they kind of discover different things along the way. It's interesting to notice if you're new to mixed media. Process gets you started, and then you can always improvise. So that gave a little color over there. I also like these leaves, maybe somewhere over here. And this just kind of gives a little bit of a transparent layer, a little more interest. And then if I find it gets a little too busy, I can always add more paint on top to push it a little into the background. So if I find that I'm putting on too many layers and it's just too wild, I can always add a little titanium white and calm the colors down a little. Or I can also add some layers that are white as well. Okay, so there's some other layers. It does seem to be getting a little bit busy. So what I'm going to do is just add just a little dash of white here and there. Whenever I'm making a mixed media piece, I always try to make sure that there's some space where the eye can rest. A little in the middle for the fish. Doesn't have to be super white, but we're just going to give it a little bit of a background. And then maybe just a little bit here. Calming some of this green down, just so it's not sitting right on top. Can blend it a little bit into the back. Same with the pink up here. giving it a little bit more of a gentle softness. And like spaces like this are nice because it does give you a little spot to rest. So now what I would do in this process is possibly use a stencil, and that just adds another layer on top. Can be just a calming layer. I wouldn't add too much color. And again, I'll use a little white just to calm it down a little bit. Creates a little more interest without adding too much of an object. These are just basic leaves. Add a little bit over here too. Just creates a little interest on top and it's not too busy. And again, it's your preference when you start, how much is too much. So now I'm just getting ready to add a focal point, and I'm just going to trim this so that it's not quite so big because I want it to be transparent. Okay, I printed this on deli paper. I will put a link right in the upper corner to show you how I did that. You could do it with an inkjet printer. I did it at home. So one of the things you just have to be careful about with the inkjet printer is not to go over it too much or else it will run. See, it just did it. It runs the ink. So you just want to be quick with it and basically adhere it from the bottom. You can see it's getting dark on the bottom, which is good. Gives a little interest. So I'm not going to go over it. I usually try to go over once with the brush, but it's freshly printed, so it's definitely going to run. So there's the focal point. Then the next part that I would do in any layering process is just kind of look around and see if there are any marks that I can make. I do like to use my Posca paint pens just to kind of make any finishing touches. Or I also use micron pens. They're great for just like outlining. So what I always try to do is just identify objects that maybe I want to bring out a little more, but maybe something like identifying this a little more, just giving it a little bit more definition so it sticks out. Whatever kind of floats your boat. Don't think too much about it. Just have fun with it. See what makes sense to you, what interests you. I always like to add some lines or dots. Just something that may add interest. And sometimes if I think that the colors are needing a little bit more cohesion, I will just kind of draw in some colors, just like this, contrasting, but gives them a little more focus. So it brings a little bit more of the corners together with that color. Then I kind of fiddle around with it. Sometimes I add a sentiment, and then that's it. So the layering process doesn't have to be complex, and I think that it's really helpful when you figure out what your own is because it gives you a little bit of a framework to work from. So that way, when you feel like you're starting to get stuck or you're not sure what to do next, you can kind of follow your process and see where it leads you. So I hope this was helpful today. I really enjoyed making this. And I'm going to put 2 more videos that are mixed media tutorials right up here. I appreciate you following along with me today, and I hope to see you again soon.